We'll chant the Mangalacharan Prabhupada pranams and start. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Prashta Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namni Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Charane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadhara Sadi Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Ram. So, yeah, whoever is sharing, please go ahead and read. Who wants to read first?
Just going to that page. I mean, I am finding it.
Yeah. 386 is not there.
There, but I have entire 800 pages.
You have the entire thing? This page 344 you are showing. Is it a PDF? You can actually type the exact page number and go there. You go ahead, Mataji, 386. Oh. No. I think it is some Control G or something. Some key is there. Or in the top, you will see the page number. There you can type 386 and you can go there. Is somebody saying something? I don't know why I am. Somebody's phone is not muted, please. I'm getting some voice. Okay. Are we there? Yes. Okay. Somebody please start reading. We are already last 10 minutes. I have to stop sharp at 8:30. Maybe Chitramati, I think we are getting some background noise at your end. Maybe someone else can read. Mataji is sharing. Want to read?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, please go ahead. And somebody can post a message in the group that we have started.
I'll post, Prabhuji.
Oh, Jay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Please go ahead.
Yeah, but even historically, it is 5,000 years beyond all religious literature in the world.
No,
We have-
Mataji,
Yes.
after 7 weeks in Vrindavan, we have to read from there.
Go from there. Mataji, could you just scroll a little more? After 7 weeks in Vrindavan, Prabhupada proceeded to Hyderabad, and while he was there, George Harrison returned to Hare Krishna land for a visit. My overriding impression was how humble, elevated, and kind George was. We exchanged a few words, and I invited him to take a tour of the construction, which was now well underway. He was all praise for the design and workmanship. At 12:30, we heard the conch shell blow and the arati begin. We continued touring the site, but after 10 or 15 minutes, we went to the temple. George came before the deities, offered his obeisances, and joined in the kirtan with the devotees, swaying in a sort of dance. Afterward, we invited him to honor a plate of Mahaprasad that had been kept for him from the Rajbhog offering. When the temple opens, he told me I would like to come and stay. Srila Prabhupada returned to Bombay on December 23rd, and on his morning walk 3 days later, he asked me to explain the opposition to our movement in America. We just today got a new package from New York, I replied. Some of the parents are charging that we are kidnapping and mentally imprisoning their children by making them devotees, because from their point of view, their children were lost to our movement. So He is a lost child, Prabhupada said to Dr. Patel and other devotees, indicating me. His father and mother came to me, and his mother was crying. I said, "So take your son," and the son would not go. He was emphasizing, demonstrating that Krishna consciousness was voluntary, not mental imprisonment, which parents claimed he affected by keeping the devotees sleep deprived, by having them rise at 4 a.m., undernourished, by having them on an austere, strict vegetarian diet, and exhausted by having them go out and collect for him from morning to night. We are washing.
This is very interesting. Here, they claimed that the devotees are undernourished. Huh? They don't know how opulent the devotees are eating. Okay, please continue, Mataji.
You are washing away their brains, Dr. Patel responded. They are charging like that. What is the new charge? They are saying mind control. Shruta Shrava said. Prabhupada laughed. Mind control, yes. So many big scholars in America, all big famous scholars, have put together a petition saying how authorized a Krishna conscious movement is. Shruta Shrava added. And they are all willing to come forward. If anytime we want some papers in the courtroom to show how bona fide our movement is, how we are actually not brainwashers and mind controllers, these scholars in America have pledged their support. There was a meeting of four big scholars at Harvard University, which is like the Oxford of America, I added. One was a famous theologian named Harvey Cox. His books are very famous. They brought up this issue of freedom of religion, and this is a bona fide religious movement, and we should have freedom to worship. And there's also a letter from a member of the World Fellowship of Religion, and he is also saying that he takes this very seriously, very grave, that such a bona fide movement is not being allowed to practice its religion freely. And then there is one, I think, Professor Sharma at an American university, and he's saying that he has personal experience that this is a bona fide movement and that the American public in general may not know. But A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami is one of the most renowned writers of Vedic translations and commentaries of Vedic literature.
So you can understand how many challenges that Prabhupada had to face, hmm? And all the devotees also have to face. That even to recognize that the Hare Krishna movement is a bona fide movement, Prabhupada had to struggle hard to even make people accept and understand. This is an amazing fight that Prabhupada had to have in the middle of the Bombay fight, and we all have to be grateful to those scholars who helped Prabhupada so much, like that Harvey Cox. There are some quotes also by Harvey Cox. If I am not wrong, he's a very nice sympathizer of a woman, just like Shilson Judah and a few other of these scholars. They genuinely appreciated Prabhupada's efforts. They knew that disciples and followers of Prabhupada are not equipped enough at that point to do anything by themselves. But then they had all their ways. I mean, they could utilize all their strength and energy just simply for the purpose of serving Srila Prabhupada. That is why you see our movement is standing on the still our movement is standing on the strength of Guru Bhakti. If we actually see those who have succeeded, you will always see that they succeeded. When I say I am not succeeded in terms of their popularity, in terms of their name and fame, I'm not saying from that perspective. I am saying from the perspective of those who have succeeded in pursuing their spiritual practices, the sadhana, the service that they are doing with a fully satisfied mind. I'm not talking about target numbers or count or anything here, but from the perspective of from the perspective of how satisfied they are in their service and how impactful they are in their service. Even if they are able to make one person a devotee, how impactful they are. That is a very important thing. See, for example, you can see as soon as Jayadvaita Maharaj has only 3 disciples total. And out of those 3, one is Kadamba Kannan Maharaj, His Holiness Kadamba Kannan Maharaj. He left his body, but you can see how wonderfully he has created such a nice group of disciples and also followers by his inspiring devotional service and preaching. You can see Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, for example, and there are many other devotees also who are his disciples. And you can see how they are, even that, though they may not be so many disciples, still the impact that they are creating is remarkable, so that is where these people also, Harvey Cox, and there is one more Thomas Hopkins or somebody was there. So they are all very, very inspired by Prabhupada's leadership. See, it is easy to have, easy to succeed in your leadership when you have all qualified, equipped people in your team. But if you look at Prabhupada's team, nobody knew what they were doing, at least in the beginning days. Prabhupada had to train them personally in each and every single thing. And the good thing about them is that they learned it very fast. By their surrender to Srila Prabhupada and by their dedication and commitment and their love for Srila Prabhupada, they learned it very fast. So that is what is most important. And you can see how all these people are coming forward because the moment, if there are so many oppositions to the way, because we were doing a lot of things as a new thing for the world, even from an Indian perspective, our activities are pretty new, like standing in the airport and distributing Bhagavad Gitas, or moving about in the streets and chanting Hare Krishna mantra, then going around and distributing prasadam in the public, and all these kind of, and wearing saffron robes and giving and saris, and then going going around doing the preaching and all that. All these are very new, even from an Indian context. So it is traditionally all these Harinams and Kirtans were all done, but due to the in between that rule, British rule and whatever not, things were kind of lost. People started thinking these to be like a nuisance or whatever, right? So with all these things that Prabhupada was doing, and that too in a foreign country, America, there is every chance of our movement getting rescinded or rejected as a outgrown cult and whatever. But for this, our movement, in fact, it was towards the end of Prabhupada's stay in this world that New York court actually declared that Hare Krishna ISKCON is a bona fide movement. So this is a very remarkable thing in the history of Bhakti cult. Prabhupada himself said that at last I have achieved this thing. Now, if that was not done till date, we all should have been struggling, and moreover, not many people would have joined the movement because they will see this as some kind of a like a unofficial illegal movement or whatever, right? So that's why the credit has to be given where it is due. So all these people were really willing to help Prabhupada, and that is very much common. Any points to add here before we move further?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Hare Krishna. Who is that? Piyush Prabhu?
Prabhuji, am I audible?
You are audible, Prabhu. Please go ahead. Looks like you are not talking, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, please go
Yes,
ahead.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we also see that how Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan also saved the philosophy, the Gaudiya Vaishnava
Yeah.
Sampradaya, how he also saved them when he was challenged by some. So
Very true, Prabhu.
we can
Very
also
true.
see this.
Very true.
So how
Yeah.
Prabhupada saved us actually. Otherwise, we do not join.
Yes, Prabhu, you are right, Prabhu. Your voice is breaking, so we'll continue reading, Prabhu. And we will, when your network is all right, we will continue to hear from you. Thank you, Prabhu. So, who was reading? Was that Hemati
Hema.
Mataji? Yes,
Yes,
Mataji, go ahead.
Prabhuji. Sometimes on his walks, Prabhupada would come to the point of calling people, even reputed spiritual and political leaders, mudhas, fools, or asses. The Bhagavad Gita says, Namam Dushkritino Mudha Prapadyante Naradhama Maya Pratajnana Asuram Bhavam Ashritaha. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Gita 7.15. And Prabhupada would say, anyone who doesn't surrender to Krishna is a dushkritina, miscreant, either a mudha, fool, rascal, or in strong language as Naradhama, the lowest among mankind. Maya Pratajnana, someone who may be knowledgeable or intelligent, but whose knowledge has been stolen away by Maya, or Asarim Bhavam, one who has the nature of demons. He would say anyone who is not surrendered to Krishna falls in one of these four categories: fool, rascal, demon, and so on. And sometimes Dr. Patel would become very upset, but Prabhupada would counter, saying, Krishna is saying, I'm only repeating what Krishna says. But the two had an affectionate relationship, and after Prabhupada left this world, Dr. Patel wrote a heartfelt account of their time together. His article, published in Back to Godhead as My Life's Most Precious Moments, was subtitled A Bombay Doctor Wins the Title Big Fool and Loves It. So at least in retrospect, he relished being called a mudha by Prabhupada.
I really, last time also, I think I mentioned about it. I was telling, if anybody has this article, it will be nice if you can post it in our group. I really look forward to this. I'm not able to get it. I tried here and there, but I couldn't get it really. Maybe it is one of the old BTG article magazine, but it must have been it must be in the online, somewhere. It must have come maybe around in the 80s, maybe mid 80s or whatever. So anybody can find out, please do share in the group. Okay. Now we are going to I just wanted to share this point that Dr. Patel really had this thing that he was having a very mixed relationship with Prabhupada. My voice is audible, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So always this Dr. Patel had this thought that sadhus must be very, very soft and this and that. But unfortunately, Prabhupada would never budge into that. So, but at the same time, he was very appreciative of how Prabhupada has turned the Westerners into devotees and so on. So, at the same time, he also wanted to show his knowledge and this and that. So, Prabhupada would, whenever with the right time is there, the time is needed, action is needed, he would cut his false ego, cut him to size. And at the same time, he would also tolerate some of his things, some of his tantrums and all that. So he somehow found him to be a very good masala to the whole thing that was there. And you would have seen this that once gets upset with Prabhupada, and he gets upset with Prabhupada and then says, "I will not meet you again." So a few days he was not to be seen. But Prabhupada did not budge. He said, I will call, if you are a fool, I will have to call you a fool. If you are a rascal, I have to call you a rascal. I cannot do this, uh, this just doing some saw, doing some buttering thing. I cannot do that buttering business. So, so this is. Oh, you got the article, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. It's the same article.
Okay. Please put it in the WhatsApp group, Prabhu.
Kar diya. Yes, Prabhu. Done.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, Prabhu. It is available to some, nothing like it. I was looking for it. So we have to be really appreciative of these characters. Just like in Krishna's case, also there, you find this Jarasandha, this Poundraka, all these characters coming, and Krishna deals with them to give more joy and pleasure to the devotees, right? So similarly, in Prabhupada's case also, you will see characters like this will come, and eventually they will appreciate Prabhupada's stories because Kirti Yasecha Jivati. If somebody is just doing some social service, whatever, they will be remembered only till they are alive, till their life time. After they leave the body, they will be forgotten. But Prabhupada, this so pure, is beyond all this social things, service, and all these things. So that's why when they see that Prabhupada, beyond his lifetime, also he has been glorified every day in and day out, and his kirti is only expanding and expanding everywhere we go. Every single temple that we open, Prabhupada's Murti is there, isn't it? Can we have an ISKCON temple without Prabhupada's Murti? There can be temples without Radha Krishna Murti. Maybe, for example, there will be a temple only for Jagannath Pradesh Subhadra or only for Gauranitai, like that. But any temple, you see, definitely there must be Prabhupada deity, right? Prabhupada Murti. So that is the beauty of the Guru Bhakti, the effect of Guru Bhakti that has kept our movement alive. So let's go further. Now someone else wants to read this Gita in Varda.
I have a question.
Yeah, Gaurav Prabhu, please go ahead. Please,
Um,
you have a question. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, so the thing is, Dr. Patel, his interactions with Srila Prabhupada, actually, these kind of interactions are very difficult to understand. We need to have a different kind of vision to actually see in depth what is happening, right? What is the relationship between the two? So how do we, in our day-to-day life when we come across such situations, so how can we avoid being judgmental, right, Prabhuji? We may think, oh, this person is getting upset, and
The judgmental about whom? To the person, like
to the
for
person
example,
getting upset,
my
to the
case.
person getting upset. Yes,
Yes.
he is behaving like that,
So
and
Prabhu, you please, one thing we'll have to understand here is that Prabhupada's purity was not built overnight. You understand? Prabhupada's purity,
yes,
he already had that purity. That's one thing. But then beyond that also, even if you see him as one of the, like many other people, many other saintly people, you can see how he built on his purity throughout his life. So when we keep facing situations and like how Parishit Maharaj tolerated, how Dhruva Maharaj tolerated, like that Prabhupada tolerated so many situations in his life. Imagine sitting in that Sumati Maharaj's that Scindia steamship company for the whole day, for many days, simply sitting there just praying to Krishna that somehow he will get a free ticket, and that too in a cargo ship. Can we do that? That is, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying one example. Like that, there are so many examples where Prabhupada tolerated. So when we build this, this is how the purity is built, Prabhu, by our tolerance, by our humility, by our honesty, even respecting those who are not respecting us. These are all when we do all these things for the pleasure of Krishna, in order to serve Krishna, in the mission of Krishna, then our purity also gradually builds up. And when we reach a point where that purity can help you take a command on the other person, because that purity is nothing but your firm faith in Krishna, that he is protecting you, he is watching us, isn't it, Prabhu? No, we are also doing devotional service, but we don't have this feeling that Krishna is continuously watching us and he's continuously guiding us. He is always protecting us. These thoughts we don't have all the time, isn't it? Even when the situation is totally unfavorable, Prabhupada would think that way. But will we be able to think like that? So these are all symptoms of building the purity, right? So when we reach a point where our purity is so full that whatever happens in life, Krishna is our protector. Krishna is our ultimate friend. Krishna is our ultimate guide. When we have that firm conviction of, at that time when we speak, the others um, uh, will take it in the right sense, or somehow Krishna will work it out that the other person will apologize later, like how in case of Dr. Patel, how he apologized to Prabhupada later for his behavior. You get me? So until that point, Prabhu, we have to follow. Prabhupada was also facing many such situations in his Grahastha life and all. But at that time, he was very, very patient. He was not shouting or screaming at anybody. Every time he was facing a failure, whether it was that person who was sending him out of the League of Devotees building just overnight, and he just had to leave like that, or he goes to any shops for distributing the magazines, just rejecting him or ignoring him. How much painful it might be for him, but he never showed it up on anybody. Correct?
Yes, Prabhu.
So that is how the purity is built, Prabhu. When we develop these qualities, the good qualities in us, with the consciousness that it is all for serving Krishna and nothing else, right? When we have that kind of a mentality, then our purity keeps building up. And like how Prabhupada is doing, many of our spiritual masters also, they also do certain things which may not be in the normal thing we can do. But then they are able to make that impact on the lives of the other people. The same statement we say and when they say, there's a difference in the impact, no, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And that is because of their purity of their Guru Bhakti, purity of their consciousness and so on. And that is how Prabhupada's purity was built. And that is how he was able to attract even people who were apparently not agreeing with him. Even those people, he was able to get them to agree at a later point. That is why Patel he wrote this nice article about Prabhupada.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So even though Dr. Patel, this is another important point, Prabhu. Even though Dr. Patel was his ego was hurt, and that is why he was going away and all that. But the way Prabhupada saw Dr. Patel was at the Atma level, Prabhu. He never apologized. He said, "Oh, I see. This is what Krishna says. I did not say anything wrong. You can't ask Krishna." That is one thing. The second thing is he tolerated him also, Patel's immaturity and all that. But beyond all this, Prabhu, when he came and talked friendly with Prabhupada also, Prabhupada saw Krishna's hand. When he left him and went away also, he saw Krishna's hand. You understand? So that is a real purity.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And that is why even after Prabhupada's departure, the association of Prabhupada had a great impact on someone like Dr. Patel. Does that help, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
So for us also, we have to follow the same thing. When somebody is talking like Dr. Patel to us, we should immediately not jump on to say that, oh, you are fool, rascal, etc. But rather, we'll say that maybe you are right. I will see. That humility, even if you are right, telling that you are saying that, I may be wrong, or maybe I will have to introspect. That is a symptom of developing our humility. Because we can't say that, hey, Prabhupada did this, I will also do it. That will land us up in a big mess. Because we should be very clear that we haven't developed that same purity that Prabhupada had. Even an iota of the purity we have not had. Because we're still in the material modes. Prabhupada is never in the material modes. Right? So
Yes.
the whole idea is to keep developing the purity and be humble, so that even if somebody talks like Dr. Patel to us, then we are being judgmental or whatever. As long as it is personally about us, we'll tolerate. But if they tell something nonsense about Krishna, you will tell them in a gentle way that this is not right. You see this book and see our acharyas what they are doing, what they are saying. So please, you may agree with me or not, but please understand that these are the scriptures with which we are doing it. You are free to think whatever you want, but in the temple you cannot do this. This is how it works in our the principles, right?
Okay, bro.
That way we have to be very stern in our protecting our philosophy and our culture, our processes. But personally, if they are telling, oh, you are just speaking big things, but you are not showing in your actions, etc., like that, sometimes they say no, then immediately our false ego will be hurt. Those are the times when we have to humbly accept that this is something which is for my purification, and immediately we tell them that I am sorry, I will fix this problem, it is my mistake. So we have to identify the difference now.
Yes, bro.
So to that extent, that Prabhupada, when even though he was such a great saint and he was doing miraculous things in the world, when the reporters asked him, which class do you belong to? Prabhupada said, I am actually fifth class. He told about the 4 classes, no, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. He said, I am fifth class. I don't belong to any of these, even lower than the 4th class. So to that extent, Prabhupada was showing his humility even to a reporter who may not even realize that humility. Understand?
Yes, bro.
Many times we want to show our humility to people who can appreciate that humility. and when somebody is not able to appreciate our humility, we feel it's a waste of time talking to or expressing our humility to them. They will not be able to appreciate our humility anyway, isn't it, Prabhu?
Yes.
So that is a very interesting trick. You have to come out of it. Thank you for that wonderful question, Prabhu. So,
Thank you.
Anything else anybody would like to share before we move on?
Prabhu, for that, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Antaryami here.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
You
Prabhu.
mentioned that humility we will not show against our spouse. That is the best example because they will not appreciate.
We want to show only to those who appreciate it. Outside us,
Appreciate,
outside us are some people who will say, Prabhuji, you are so humble. If somebody says that, then we are happy to be humble in front of them, right?
Yes.
But
Because
we know
our
your
spouse will not appreciate, so we will not show that humility. Yeah.
Yeah. And because why they are not appreciating? Because they know us in and out. Those who are appreciating us, they don't know us.
Yes.
That is why they are appreciating. They don't know our real face. But our family members, they know our real face. So when they say that, oh, we know what you are, then we feel what is the point in being humble with these people? They don't appreciate it at all. Nice, Prabhu. Thank you. Okay, so let's continue this. Who wants to read it? Gita in Varda.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Oh, Jai Kamalni Mataji is there. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I just met you a few days ago. I met our Vijaya Sarvadam Mataji also. She also reads wonderfully like you. So I told her, devotees are all very happy to. Both of you are very read with a nice bhav, Thank you. Our Chitra Mataji also read very nicely. Okay, please continue, Mataji.
The Gita in Vartha. Among the influential friends I had been cultivating in Bombay was Ramakrishna Bajaj, one of the 20 top industrialists in India who ran many big companies, including Bajaj Electricals. Under the guidance of Acharya Vinoba Bhave, a leading follower of Mahatma Gandhi, who had been considered his spiritual successor, Ramakrishna Bajaj had formed the Gita Pratishthan, Gita Foundation, through which individuals and organizations propagating Bhagavad Gita could coordinate their activities, and proposed a conference to bring everyone together. Vinoba Bhave had introduced the Bhudan movement. Bhu means earth or land, and Dan means gift, and traveled on foot across India to persuade wealthy landowners to give a percentage of their land to landless laborers who could then settle on it and grow their own food. He had rendered the Bhagavad Gita into a book of Marathi verse known as Gitai, and was a great champion of cow protection. He was much respected by Indira Gandhi, who often went to him for advice and blessings. Although Mr. Bajaj said that he believed in the philosophy of the Gita, he didn't want to bring in the personality of Krishna. His idea was to preach the philosophy of the Gita without reference to him. When Prabhupada came to Bombay and I told him about Bajaj's idea, he was perturbed. He said that the whole philosophy of the Bhagavad Gita culminated in surrender to Krishna. You couldn't separate him out. This is very nice that Bajaj wants to invite all preachers of Bhagavad Gita to work together. He granted. But what is their understanding of Bhagavad Gita? First, we have to understand what Bhagavad Gita is, what Bhagavad Gita teaches. Then we can discuss about coordinating our activities for preaching Bhagavad Gita. What is the use of this conference? There is no use. We should avoid. He continued. We will all get together and everyone will have a different idea of Bhagavad Gita. And who will be the judge? He paused, and then answered his own question. Let Indira Gandhi be the judge. This is a very good proposal.
She herself was confused at that time.
We will all come together and present our idea of Bhagavad Gita, and Indira Gandhi and her leading colleagues will hear the arguments and decide what is the real understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Indira Gandhi is very respectful to Vinoba Bhave, and on his invitation, she and her leading colleagues can come, hear the presentation, and decide what is the correct understanding of Bhagavad Gita. And if Indira Gandhi accepts our philosophy, then our whole preaching in India is a success.
See, this is you see how Prabhupada is talking in two different levels, right? Do you see that? At the first instance, Prabhupada is rejecting this idea that everybody come and talk about Bhagavad Gita. Who will be this thing? There won't be any. If you don't accept Prabhupada, if you don't accept Krishna, what is the point of Bhagavad Gita? So he is pretty clear about the questions. What are the questions that he's asking? What Bhagavad Gita is, and
What does it
what Bhagavad
teach?
Gita teaches. First, we have to understand what Bhagavad Gita is and what Bhagavad Gita teaches. These two things people don't have. So, what Bhagavad Gita is, it is Krishna who speaks this Bhagavad Gita. If people don't want to, if the people want to take Krishna out of the equation, the whole question of what Bhagavad Gita is gone. They don't understand what is Bhagavad Gita. Right? This is something which really attracted me in the beginning days of my Krishna consciousness. The unique thing about Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is that he doesn't compromise on keeping Krishna as the center of everything. He doesn't like this idea of people cornering Krishna to some remote corner and ignoring him and just take the text alone. And that really attracted me. All others are doing that. Prabhupada is so uncompromising in his understanding or in his clarity of thought as far as Krishna's Krishna's importance is concerned, that is one level. But at the other level, Prabhupada is also seeing this as a preaching opportunity, isn't it?
Mhm.
He says that, okay, let them all come, let Indira Gandhi be the judge. He has this feeling that basically, when he went to meet her, he saw that she's a confused and disturbed person, but she has a little inclination to spiritual side, whatever it may be. And he also found one thing, that irrespective of whatever she may be, she has a very commanding position as far as India is concerned, isn't it? Because
Yes.
if you remember the 70s, 60s and 70s, 60s, of course, Nehru was there, mid 60s. He was the one who oversaw the disastrous China war. And then Indira Gandhi had to face at least two wars as Pakistan, isn't it?
Mm.
So he found her to be a able administrator, even though whatever she may be, but her administration wise, she had a command over whatever her subordinates or whatever. So Prabhupada wanted to take advantage of her authoritative position, because with if you have to establish the rule of Bhagavad Gita in this whole world, rule of Krishna in this whole of India at least, or even and for that matter the whole world, an authoritative leader is required. If you have a secular leader who is just wanting to be goody goody with everybody around, they will not be able to establish the authority of Krishna. You see, so that is
Also,
where it is. Yes, Mataji.
also Prabhupada had so much confidence in this philosophy that we will be able to convince them, isn't it, Prabhuji?
Yeah, that is one side of it, because he sees that he has already met Indira Gandhi once, and he judged her basically, right? Oh, she may be attached to her position, seat, whatever, but at the end of the day, someone who is at a very authoritative position will be able to create that impact. If simply she says that this particular presentation is good, then the whole of India will accept it. That's all is needed. See, you see how many years we are fighting to make Bhagavad Gita as our national book. Like Sushma Swaraj proclaimed that in the parliament. Then we have Modi and all giving that as a gift to everybody and raising the importance of Bhagavad Gita. But in spite of all these things, that keeps on coming and forward. But then this secular nonsense is so strong in our country that they are not able to make Bhagavad Gita as a national book, national sastra. It's after so many years of independence. This is the pathetic situation when you don't have an authoritarian person head who can take decisions irrespective of whatever the reactions may be. He just doesn't care what the reactions will be. So that kind of a bold decision maker is required. And that's why he felt that it may be if Krishna agrees to give us a chance, because out of all the, say, suppose 100 people are gathering, out of those 100 people, 99 people will not take Krishna into the center. All of them will repeat the same thing. This is ancient, takes this, etc. But Krishna and Arjuna will not be in the picture at all. And he was 100% sure that we will be the only ones who will be focusing on keeping Krishna in the center and not driving to the corner. The whole philosophy of Bhagavad Gita too is to accept Krishna as the Supreme God. Right? So this is something which Prabhupada was very clear. Even now, if you see, which movement is accepting that? Can anybody point out one movement which follows the same thing of Prabhupada? No, right?
No,
So that is
Prabhuji.
an important factor also. And one other important factor is that at that time also, and even now also, if you see that in only in our movement, we have international acceptance. All other groups are maybe confined within what do you call confined within some state or some country or some community or some within their own philosophy, isn't it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So that is where Prabhupada had this edge compared to all others, you know. But either way, being alone, we cannot fight our own. Um, So he still had the faith that if Krishna wants, it can happen. Like alone, he created this worldwide movement. So alone, why can't he put his case across in this thing? So yeah, the beauty here is that one side he is also apprehensive about this kind of initiative. He tells about about the, the cons of this initiative. That people just want to come like an interfaith dialogue kind of a thing. But at the same time, he still has hope that it will give us an opportunity to present ourselves to the wider audience or to the public at large. Maybe if it is printed in a newspaper with different groups saying what all things they were doing, telling, our thing may also be printed in one or two paragraphs, and it will happen eventually, isn't it? Okay, so good discussions. Thank you for that. Any other points or anything from anyone? Gaurav Prabhu, it was you raised your hand. Was that for the earlier one?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
Okay,
Prabhuji.
very good. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Sorry,
So
Prabhuji.
fine. Can we continue read? Who was going to read? I think was it Kamalni Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, I was reading Prabhuji.
Please continue, Mataji.
Mr. Bajaj came to Juhu in November and invited Prabhupada to join the Gita Pratishtan's coordinating committee. And because Bajaj had come personally, Prabhupada agreed. Bajaj was the leader of the effort and he kept his sister's husband, Sriman Narayan, former governor of Gujarat, as president and himself as secretary. Some months later, he wrote Prabhupada, "It has now been decided to hold the first meeting a meeting of the coordinating committee. The meeting will be attended by selected prominent persons and representatives of different institutions engaged in the propagation of Gita and will enable the members to exchange information about their activities, promote closer contacts, and coordinate the work being done in the field of Gita Prachar in different parts of the country and abroad. It will also provide an opportunity to the members to consider ways and means of bringing about greater coordination in this work and also to facilitate the furtherance of the cause of Gita Prachar, which is dear to all of us, in a more effective and systematic manner. In view of the valuable work being done by you, we would be very happy if you could kindly make it convenient to attend and participate in the meeting." On May 14th, from Honolulu, Prabhupada replied, "As you know, I am trying my best to preach the teachings of Bhagavad Gita all over the world, and I am experiencing some glimpse of success in this connection. Naturally, I am inclined to preach the teachings of Bhagavad Gita very fervently in India. India is the land of spiritual culture. But gradually, India being influenced by material allurement, its spiritual culture is being forgotten. It is the duty of the Indian leaders to note this degradation. There is no harm to become materially advanced, but if simply for material advancement we forget our spiritual basis, it will be a great loss. Therefore, I am also very eager to revive India's spiritual culture with the help of the Gita Foundation." Prabhupada added in a postscript, the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita are so potent that if practiced seriously, it can bring in a new life and civilization. Now you have established a Gita Pratishthan, so do it very seriously. The next day, Prabhupada explained to Pushtak Krishna, who was serving as his secretary, that Bajaj is a rich man and the son of a very important man. His father, Jamnalal Bajaj, worked with Gandhi. He had been Gandhi's treasurer. He was a very rich man and he joined Gandhi's movement and was financing it. So, this man is also a very big, rich man in Bombay. He is our life member. He came to see me. It is not possible. I am ready.
Is it not possible?
Is it not possible? I am ready. Prabhupada was already propagating the Gita. Pushta Krishna pointed out, why don't they just join our society? Why do they want to develop a separate society, Gita Prachar, a conference, or their separate work when they can simply support our work, which is doing it already? He is trying to organize, Prabhupada said, but why not combine? Any moment it can be done. But the rascals will not agree. They stick to their own foolishness. It will never be successful. Misinterpreting the words of Krishna, how much offensive it is, they do not know, and they want success. They do not take seriously that it is Krishna's instruction. They think that somebody has written an allegory or mythology. They do not believe there was battle of Kurukshetra and Krishna is God and Krishna instructed. At the most, they will admit that Krishna was a great personality. Radha Vallabh suggested. That's all, Prabhupada agreed. All this Chinmayananda, Vinoba Bhave and Gandhi and Dr. Radhakrishnan and Aurobindo, all rascals.
Prabhupada, when he says rascals, we have to understand one thing. When we say rascals, our understanding of this word rascal is very different. Actually, this word rascal got changed into a very bad word over the course of last maybe few decades only. Actually, during that early days of like British time and where Prabhupada used to be learning English, those British English, Scottish English, whatever. The rascal word is just like a stupid word, you just, hey, stupid, come on. Like that we say, no? Or, you are not very intelligent, something like that, right? When we, when we, um, uh, uh, when we want to gently rebuke somebody, it's not like a very bad word. Yeah. It's like a gentle rebuke or just making a friendly thing. Hey, come on, yeah, you are a rascal number one. Like that when we say, it's like a gentle banter kind of a thing. Because rascal actually means in technically that word muda, what Prabhupada translated to fools and rascals, he actually refers the word muda in Sanskrit actually refers to donkey. Donkey is called that way because it has, when it is walking along with the waterman, it's his boss, he just holds that bunch of grass in a stick a little away from the donkey. So it will keep on following that grass thing with all the weight in its body. It will just think that eventually will catch it. But he will not know that both sides of the road where he is traveling, there is plenty of grass that is out there. You understand? So someone who is not using his intelligence properly to get his work done smarter, he is called Muda. So when Prabhupada calls somebody, you see, whenever you hear Prabhupada speaking in the class and so who's and us, he will tell without any anger in his in his tone at all. These fools and rascals, they cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. Like that only he will say. So it will never pinch people actually as such, the way Prabhupada is saying. You know, even my Guru Maharaj used to call us rascals, but he would be with such a nice, pleasing tone that there are times when Maharaj used to give classes in various parts of the world, in the class when he asks question or somebody asks question, he will laugh and he will tell the devotee, man, you are rascal number one. So that devotee will feel very happy to hear that word. And towards the end of Maharaj's stay there, for a week or so, he was giving classes. I'm telling one particular place, but many places it has happened that every devotee wanted raise their hand. Maharaj, you did not call me rascal at all. You did not call me rascal. So they actually wanted to be called rascal. They saw the love in that calling, in the how he was calling. So it's basically it's not the word that matters. It's the tone and it's the bow with which you are speaking that it matters. When Prabhupada is saying this, he is telling in a very compassionate way. He's not telling in a very like anger or hatred or with those kind of mood. He doesn't have all those things, right? He is telling with all the compassion that he had. So that's why when he is saying all these people are rascals, actually at the same time, when I remember Prabhupada used to tell many things negative about Gandhi, but in I think somewhere in London or so when he was going Russia or London somewhere he saw Gandhi statue there, and Prabhupada immediately bowed down to that statue. Then the disciples are asking Prabhupada, you have been calling him names left, right, and center. How come you are bowing down to him? And Prabhupada said, you don't know what he has done. Nobody else has done. So we have to respect what he had done. So it is very difficult to understand the Prabhupada's activities as such. It's very important to know that saintly people, their activities we cannot Vaishnava era Kriya Mudra Vijnaya na Bhujaya means we cannot understand the Vaishnava's actions. That is very important to note. While he talks about Vinoba Bhave and all like this, at the same time he had so much respect for Vinoba Bhave. So that is how we have to see, the saintly persons thing when they do certain things, we cannot judge saintly person by their actions.
Maybe also because these people are not accepting Krishna as supreme, that also made
from that
Prabhupada
perspective alone, he says that they are all rascals. But at the same time, he also appreciates their contributions to the society as such. See, one thing we'll have to see is that Prabhupada wanted this movement to grow both as a spiritual society for everybody to take shelter of, and also eventually from a societal point of view also he wanted to make sure that we create an impact. That is why he started this Food for Life movement. Then the Gurukuls and the educational this thing he started. Bhaktivedanta Institute, that research wing he started. All these things are to spread the wing towards his last part of his last 2 years of his life. Prabhupada gives so much importance to Bhaktivedanta Institute, the BI. So much importance. Swarup Damodar Maharaj and all, when he Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj, when he gave speeches in the scientist symposium, at that time Prabhupada was bedridden, but he was jumping in joy. He was really so joyful to hear of the success that Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj was having at that time. So Prabhupada wanted to create our impact in the society at the society level also. At the spiritual level, yes, one side, but we will have to understand one thing, that not everybody will be attracted to the spiritual side straight away. There will be many who would want to follow Gandhi, Vinoba Bhave, Arvind, or all these people. They would have had some funny things about the Bhagavad Gita and all, but we cannot outrightly reject them because of their lack of understanding of Bhagavad Gita, because that is only one side of it. But the other side, they have created a big impact in the society at large. You can see Gandhi's statue are there even in say Africa and UK and US and everywhere. So if there is something definitely he has that Krishna had given him. So we can't deny that, right? So Prabhupada was very balanced. And being a saint, he was not found fault with, because everybody knows with what intention he is calling somebody as a rascal. Those who don't understand, they will always have something or other to talk about that. We can't help it. They are not. They are very immature, right? Okay. Now I just wanted to, Prabhu, can you please scroll down, or Mataji, can you please scroll down to see how far this is going, because we already crossed the time. I want to stop here at some point. Okay, seems like this is going a little longer. So we'll stop here. Where did we stop? I don't think we read a lot. Only one more extra page we read, no? What is this page now?
Page, page 391.
All the 5 pages we have read. Okay, fine. No worries. We will stop here, because here from Maharaj is going into a slightly different point here. Of course, the same thing, but it is continuing on a different date. So we'll stop here, Prabhu Mataji. Any final words from anybody?
Prabhuji, I think I heard it somewhere, like, Prabhupada calling rascal to all these people. It's his compassion on all these people. Like a father chastises his son. Yeah.
No, definitely, definitely. That's why I told you, it's unlimited compassion is manifesting through these words, because what else can he do? He somehow or other he has to get them to taste the nectar of bhakti. And another thing also we have to understand is that Prabhupada was aged enough for people to take him in the right way. See, he was almost 80 years and he was 75, 80 years, right? So a saintly person, people respect. They just don't foolishly say that, oh, this man is wrong. Even if there is a fake person, people tend to respect someone with saffron robe. Prabhupada always said that the saffron robe always has its value, even now in India. Outside the India, that's a different thing. But in India, if anybody goes with a saffron robe, they're respected. At least people don't, uh, think them to be a bad person or whatever. So even though there are so many fake people around, still, if you go in a saffron robe, we are respected, isn't it? That we have always seen. So that's a good point. Thank you. Okay, so anything else? Otherwise, we can stop here. And we assume that this
Prabhuji,
is,
in the initial days when Prabhupada wanted to name the organization, he was very much specific that it should be Krishna consciousness. Many people suggested, why don't we keep it as God consciousness?
and all that different thing. But he was very clear about it. And that is the reason for the success of movement. Otherwise, that one-pointed focus would not be there. What will happen is God consciousness means different people will have, okay, today I will open a temple with Shiva in the center. Another one will say, I will open a temple with Durga in the center. Another one will say Ganesh in the center. Like that, each one will come up with different things. Then it becomes a Bahushakha Anantascha, Buddhiya Vyavasayanam. Everything would have gone waste. Because Prabhupada kept this focus very clear that it must be Krishna, and only Krishna. Our temples are very, very unique in that sense. I have been to so many temples in the US and UK and all, where you will have this Hindu mandir, they call it as Hindu mandir or Gita mandir. They have Radha Krishna one place, Shiva Parvati in another place. Then they have one separate Durga, and they have Sita Hanuman. Then they have one Kartikeya, then they have one Ganesh. Like that, all the they call them as combo temple, So they have whatever deities they could is famous, they'll just put it there. And you can see that the consciousness there is not focused at all. People will just come, go over their favorite, they just go do their stuff and go on. There is no clarity of thought focus on thought, nothing will be there. But you see, when they come to our temple, whole thing is very clear. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, deity worship, that too only Krishna and his forms, like Jagannath, Sitaram, Hanuman, Gauritai, etc. Radha Krishna, so that's all. And Prasadam, that's it. There is no scope for anything else. Everything else, whatever people may do, will have to rotate around these main principles. See? So, very good
Yes,
point.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Good point.
Prabhuji, thank you very much. Prabhuji, one humble
Thank you.
request. Please take medicine. Prabhuji, when you were in Bombay also, you kept on coughing in between the class. It's a request, Prabhuji, because don't prolong this because your voice is also getting affected because of it.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I myself am taking medicines. It is reduced little much. Slowly it is going. So I do take medicines. I have taken, different devotees are so kind enough to give me medicine at different places in GEV, in the Mirror Road, in everywhere, Delhi, everywhere. So I am taking it. It is going slowly. I hope within a few days' time it should be kind of okay. Now that I am back in Chennai, weather is also kind of. I don't know what is the thing, but I have been carrying rain from everywhere. Every place I was going, it was raining and raining. Somehow that might have also impacted with this cough from going away. Thank you so much for your kindness, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Also, you are not giving rest to your voice, Prabhuji.
Oh.
That is
I
also
know.
another reason. Could be.
No, I know. That's something where, unfortunately, I was helpless because at least those 45 days, every day I had to speak minimum 4 to 5 hours wherever I was going. Now at least only 1 hour, so that way it is much better. So thank you so much for all your concern and kindness and care. I'm sure because of all your care and concern, Krishna, I will keep it all right. So what we will do this Saturday, in our usual time, 10:30 to 11:30, let's recommence our Narad Muni discussion. Krishna willing, we will see because I'll be here mostly. So we can start off, and we also welcome our new participant in our group, Prachi Mataji and Subodh Prabhu. They are from Hinjewadi, Pune, and we met in GEV, and they were very eager to join our team. So Krishna willing, you will get to hear from them also as we go along. Welcome, Prachi Mataji. On Saturday morning, we will have Bhagavatam Narad Muni's chapter 6. We are doing first canto, chapter 6. So it will be the same link, Mataji. You can keep it saved. It is in the group description also. That tiny CC Bhagavata Vichar. That same link we will use. Okay. Thank you for that. And Krishna willing, will all connect once again. Thank you so much for joining Prabhu's Mataji's. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.